first video of the year, so things are a little different. In case you haven't noticed, we got new eyes. We got new eyes now. Hi guys, it's Chileko. Welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry if my ring light is reflecting in my spectacles. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to give you proper video quality this year. So today I'm bringing you 10 lessons that I've learned over the past 10 years, or over the past decade. I've been seeing a lot of videos since the start of the year talking about lessons people have learned over the past year, but I feel like it's been a series of lessons that I've been learning ever since I hit my independent teens, or let me say, yeah, sort of ever since I gained my independence. So I felt like I needed to share the 10 things that I have learned over the past decade, and I'll be doing so while having my brunch. I should have had this as breakfast, but yeah. And I also have like a beverage. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So the first lesson that I've learned is trust no one, because trust is important in any sort of relationship. Anyway, as I was saying, trust is important in any relationship. Obviously, if you're going to be friends with someone, or if you're going to be in a relationship with someone, there has to be some level of trust. But what I mean by trust no one is you never truly know what people's intentions are towards you. And personally, I've been in situations and circumstances where I've given people my full trust and it's come back to bite me, or it's ended up being a situation whereby I question why I trusted that person in the first place. And it's never a good situation. It's always a situation where someone gets hurt in the process, and it's even harder to trust yourself as an individual, because you can tell yourself that I'm not capable of doing a certain thing in a certain situation, but if the opportunity presented itself, you might find yourself doing the very thing you said you wouldn't do. So if it's quite difficult for you to trust yourself, then trusting someone else is something that you have to do with great caution. The second lesson that I learned in the past 10 years is to forgive yourself. I started realizing that I had this problem with forgiving myself in my early 20s. I went through a very, very rough patch in the beginning of my 20s. You know, where you're transitioning from a teenager to an adult, or is it an adolescent? And there's so much confusion, and there's so much of an identity crisis, basically. So you're going through this process of trying to discover who you are, what your purpose in life is, and you end up messing up. And I'm sure each and every one of us has been in a situation where we've done something we regret, and some things that we're not proud of. And it was during that time that I found it really, really, really hard to forgive myself. And I'm grateful for the people that were there during that time, because I feel like I may have even slipped into some momentary depression if I didn't have those people, because those people were there to remind me that if your Heavenly Father can forgive you, then why can't you forgive yourself? So that is one of the major lessons that I will be taking with me going forth. And even now, because I'm my biggest critic, and it's very, very hard, like even when I make a mistake, it's very hard for me to just get over that mistake. And I'm always going back to say, what if I had chosen a different path, or what if I had gone a different direction? Maybe my life would have turned out differently. But if we continue living like that, then it's really, really bad for your mental health. So I would say forgive yourself. It's a hard thing to do, but if you can forgive others, and if your Heavenly Father can forgive you, then you definitely have to learn to forgive yourself. And the third lesson that I've learned is to make yourself a priority. This was also very difficult for me, because I spent so much time trying to prove to other people that they are a priority in my life, and I never bothered to check whether I'm a priority in their life. And Also, it didn't really matter if I was a priority to anyone, but I just wanted to make it my top priority to show someone that they're my priority. And in the end, I ended up living for other people or living to please other people and not taking time to think about what made me happy personally, and taking the time to give myself some self-care, or to just show that I am making myself a priority. And that means that if I am hungry or if I'm craving some meal that I haven't had in a while, I'm gonna take myself out to lunch. If I haven't gotten myself a pair of decent shoes in a while, then I'm going to go into a store and get myself a pair of shoes. If I feel that my nails haven't been looking good in a while, then I need to get myself to get my nails done. And if I feel like being around people is messing with my mental health, you're gonna hear me mentioning mental health a lot in this video, because I feel like it has become an issue that a lot of people, especially the youth, are neglecting. So yes, I'm gonna be referring to my mental health a lot in this video. So if anything affected my mental health, I needed to also realize that I needed time to myself, and there's nothing wrong with being by yourself, and there's nothing wrong with just having your thoughts to yourself and just making yourself a priority and giving yourself time to think about you. The other lesson that I had learned is you can't stop anyone from leaving. Even the ones that you love will leave you one day. It's a very, very harsh truth or lesson to learn in life. Some people will leave your life intentionally, and some people will leave your life unintentionally. And an unintentional way that someone can walk out of your life is through death. We always need to prepare yourself, or always need to remind ourselves that life is very short, and you literally can't control who stays in your life and who is there to be in your life forever. You really can't control that. And sometimes people will intentionally leave your life. Why? Because maybe they feel that you're toxic, maybe they feel you're bad for their mental health, or maybe they just feel like you're not adding any value to their life. And it will also happen to you, where you leave someone's life not because you don't love that person, but because you feel that it is important for you to be away from that person if you are going to get on with life well. I had some struggles learning that, and I have been coming to terms with that and with accepting that, especially for the fact that I had lost two very close people to me in a space of only 5 months and in the same year. So that was a very, very major lesson for me to learn. And even in the years prior, I learned that even if someone promised that they would be in your life forever, it's not always the case. And which brings me back to the first lesson that I learned, is that you cannot trust anyone. Okay, pause. I just realized I didn't mention the fifth lesson that I learned, and that's that your mindset is your biggest weapon. And so I'm going to run through that one real quickly. Basically, that means always believe in yourself. Every time you tell yourself that you can, you're usually right. And every time you tell yourself that you can't, you're also usually right. Number 6. You cannot change anyone but yourself. That's another thing that I have struggled with, because I've always felt like if you wanted to be my friend, or if you wanted to be a part of my life, then you needed to live by the terms that I create, which I feel is unfair. If you're going to bring someone into your life, then you cannot change how that person views life, or you cannot change you somehow can. You can give someone a new perspective in life, but then you cannot change someone who, literally you cannot change anyone. And I've learned this in relationships, where you find that people will enter into a relationship and they will enter with traits that you do not like, or traits that you feel that they should let go of. But you need to recognize that if someone is not willing to change those traits, you can't do that for them. You can't make them do that. The only thing you can do is accept that a person is a certain way. However, if you want change can only come from you. If you want to see the world in a different way, you literally have the control to do that. If you want to change a certain bad habit about yourself, it's only you that's capable of doing that. And you will find that even if someone is trying to change something about you, you will only change that one thing if you want to change it. So that applies both ways. The 7th thing that I learned over this decade is anticipate storms before they happen and build your shelter now. That applies to literally anything. Not in a literal sense that storms are going to come, but I mean storms of life. For example, I'll give you an example of what I went through personally. In the year 2017, I started pretty much investing and saving, and I joined some village banking group. And at the time, it just sounded like something fun and just like, oh, if you put this much money together for a period of time, you know, after some time, you're gonna have this much money. So for then, it was just like, oh, ooh, let's see how much money I end up with after this set period of time. And so it so happened that the very month when I was receiving my payout, I lost my job. The company I was working for literally closed down, and that was a storm in life. But imagine if I had not participated in that savings program or investment program, where would I have been and how would I have survived? I can tell you that I did not move back into my parents' house, and I was able to pay my rentals for 3 months. I was able to live on my savings for 3 months, and in the 3rd month I actually found a new job. But imagine how it would have been if I had not done that. So I've always seen the importance of putting some money aside for a rainy day, even if it's just 100 kwacha. I'd advise you to like open a separate bank account, maybe make a standing order where you instruct your bank to take out 100 kwacha, 50 kwacha, anything on a monthly basis. It may seem like something small, but after a period of time has passed and after you go through something, you will find that that money will come in so handy, and it will help you literally solve whatever problems you may encounter as you go through that. I'll make a separate video on it, but I feel like our generation needs to be very financially savvy and, you know, very prepared, because you never know what life will bring or what storms may come. So always build your shelter now. The 8th lesson that I've learned is, if it's black and white, do not look for gray areas. Take things by face value, basically. So what that means is, I'm going to give an example of maybe a relationship. When you meet someone and, you know, it's all good and it's all rosy in the first few days or months of you guys chatting and talking and getting to know each other, and you feel like, oh, this is it. I finally found the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And then all of a sudden, this person ghosts you. And you're not taking the signs. You're there saying, oh no, you know, he's probably busy, that's why he's not texting back, or he's probably, you know, life happens and stuff. Take it by face value. I feel like if somebody actually cares about you, or if somebody actually has the intentions they say they have about you, then they will show it by their actions. So you will see by the face value of their actions if at all they actually do care about you. If the person doesn't make you a priority, then it means that you're not a priority. It's black and white. It's not gray. It's black and white. So don't look for gray areas and don't make excuses for other people. Take things as you see them. Don't look for the hidden message. There probably isn't any, unless somebody's throwing some subliminals. But take that by face value as well. If someone is throwing shade or throwing subliminal messages, it's that. They're throwing shade and subliminal messages. And the 9th lesson that I've learned is never doubt your instinct. I don't know, but for years and years and years and years, let me say years prior, years when I was in high school, I always doubted my instinct. My instinct would literally be there, throwing red flags, throwing signs, and ringing alarms, and I would ignore. And then when the thing actually happens, my brain will be there saying, I told you so. And so I've learned over the past years to never doubt my instincts. If I have a bad feeling about something, I'm literally going to avoid that situation. And I always try to look at it to say, okay, say I actually ignored my instinct, where could this actually go? And I would say 90% of the time, when I trusted my instincts, they were usually right. Sometimes your instincts is your body's way of warning you that of danger. Trust it. And the last but not least, 10th and final lesson that I've learned over the past 10 years is to regret nothing. I know I said that we tend to do things that we can't forgive ourselves for, and we also regret doing those things. But look at it this way: if you actually never went through that one thing that you regret, you probably wouldn't have learned the lesson that would make you avoid doing that thing again. So don't ever have regrets, even if it's over something that was really bad. That one thing, it left you with lessons. It may have left you with scars, but it has left you with lessons. and don't ever have regrets. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that I have learned over the past decade. I hope this video inspires someone, and I hope somebody actually learns something from this video. If at all you'd like to share any lessons that you've learned over the past decades that I have not touched on in this video, feel free to leave a comment down below. I would also appreciate it if you shared this video, and I will be running a giveaway once I hit 400 subscribers. I don't know if by the time this video is going up I would have already hit 400 subscribers, and if I have, then let's aim for 450. But I will still be doing a giveaway in one of my future videos. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.